What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 19 of the BBET GamesCast. I'm joined by Superman Jeff,
Hey, what's going on?
as well as Blue Bones,
It's your boy. What's going on, y'all?
and we are going to get started, as we do always, with what we've been playing. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Go right ahead.
What
This
you
week,
got?
the DLC for Marvel Ultimate Alliance came out.
Right,
But
you were talking about that last week, I think.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. They added actually a good amount of content for it, which is, I was surprised. I thought it was gonna be like just new characters and stuff, but there's like a whole new like screen, like a main screen you go into.
Mhm.
Like the artwork on it is completely different.
Oh.
Not only do you get Blade, you get Punisher, which I thought was weird. Punisher.
Wait, what's weird about,
you get,
what's weird about
Michael
them adding
Morbius.
Punisher?
Yeah, for Vampire DLC. I don't know.
Oh, it was supposed to be vampire. Okay.
Oh,
I don't know if it was like
I
Garlic
could see him
Bullet.
down in that.
You
that
could,
area, though.
you know. I could see where there was like
It's
an
not a
animated
stretch.
series where he kind of meets Blade and kind of starts helping Blade hunt vampires as opposed to hunting humans. Then you had Moon Knight.
Okay.
Moon Knight.
And then you had Michael Morbius. If you remember from the old '90s Spider-Man TV cartoon.
Cartoon, yeah. He was
The,
dating Felicia Hardy,
vampire-
and then he got turned into some
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah,
And
he
they would
uses
never
the,
say blood; they would always say plasma for whatever reason.
Yeah. What was the name of that? I guess because it was Fox. Remember, Fox changed a lot of stuff
Mm.
from different stuff. Like if they thought it was too,
Yeah, like too
Much for younger
violent
viewers.
or
so that
suggestive
could
or
have been one of
whatnot.
the things. Like plasma, giving Sanji a lollipop instead of a cigarette. They made like subtle changes to stuff.
That made sense, though. You don't want to show a kid, a bunch of kids some
Yeah.
kids smoking all the
I mean,
time.
like now, but I'm like, when I did see the cigarette. Side note, I was like, when you start smoking. You know what I mean? I just thought he was like a candy junkie. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay, maybe he gave up the sweets.
Yeah.
Found out he had diabetes or something, and just started smoking to make up.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah, that's a great idea.
it was. You
No.
know, it took one bad habit over another. But anyway, so DLC was pretty cool. The characters are actually pretty. Blade plays very very well.
What are some
and
of his
they
like
added-
attacks and stuff?
Yeah, like he obviously uses his swords. He uses his guns. He has like a lot of physical attacks as well. Morbius plays pretty cool too. I like how the movesets are very unique. It doesn't feel like one character is just like another. So
Okay.
they do a great job with that of differentiating the different characters from
How
each
many
other.
are there in total now?
Oh man, there's a lot. There's a good amount.
Approximate. What you got?
Even for me though, it feels like it's still light compared to the other games.
Huh.
But that could just be me.
Approximate how many characters? Is it as much as Smash? More?
No, not as much as Smash.
Okay.
Not as
Okay.
much as Smash. I would say there's at least 25 characters.
That's still a hefty roster right
That
there.
is. That is.
Yeah, for
But
like
there's
a
also
Diablo
DLC
type
coming out.
game.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Yeah.
actually. I
They're
would
going to
think
be
anyway.
doing DLC for it, so it's always new DLC. So this DLC alone released 4 characters. They gave you 2 free characters before the DLC, which was Colossus and Cyclops.
Ah, okay.
But the new mode adds a kind of they add a vampire feel to it, so you can go through the original game, and now enemies drop these. They're supposed to be cursed with vampiric somehow. I don't know, but anyway, they drop these tokens that you can use in a marketplace called the Shield Post,
Mhm.
where you can actually use it to buy certain things like experience orbs. You can use it to buy costumes for different new costumes.
So
They have
is
this
this
really cool.
is this like the free currency that could get you stuff that you could also buy with paid currency?
Good question. That's where I was
There's-
going.
What do you mean? Paid like real money?
Like
Yeah.
you can get stuff from the real money shop by saving up these token things.
No. These tokens
No,
are just
okay.
for like in-game currency. You
Okay.
can't get costumes by using real money. There's
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So there's no okay.
There's no microtransactions or anything like that.
All right. So
So
microtransactions
oh.
is sitting this one out. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you can unlock costumes by doing these little select missions in like what we call the Infinity. There's like Infinity Stones. You go, you click it, and there's like different little it looks like a little checkerboard, and each one has it'll give you a different reward. One might be a Hulk skin. That's how you unlock 3 other characters. How you unlock Loki, Elektra, Magneto, and Thanos. You actually play as Thanos.
Oh wow.
He was a bad guy, so he's like
But
on a team
I
beating
don't
up
wanna
his own
spoil it,
minions.
But like towards
Okay,
the
well,
end,
all right, yeah, if that's a
Yeah.
story thing, then
yeah. But you do get to play as Thanos if you unlock him. But he's like a level 70 character you got to fight, so you got to unlock him at like level 70 or some crap. But and they had different little, rewards, pretty cool from doing that, and that's a good thing. I'm glad they didn't go with the microtransaction thing. I feel like it would have kind of,
Naturally, yeah.
like, to me, watered the game down a little bit.
Of course.
So it's like, oh, hey, here's a new mode. You go in, you got to kill these to get these vampiric tokens. Now you can use these tokens because before, the only way to level up lower characters was to play with them. Now I'm going to buy a bunch of cubes and go ahead and level them up using the cubes.
So you can then have them be viable even if you haven't played
exactly
them much. Makes sense.
Yeah. So like, if you had like a core 4, by the time you got to like, now when you, depending on when you meet certain characters in the game, they were a little bit higher level.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if I wanted to go back and play as Iron Man, who I met like in the first chapter, he's only, and I haven't played as him, and I'm like level 50. He's only going to be like level 3.
Right. Okay. So they're basically addressing that issue because I'm pretty sure a bunch of people have complained about that. That's cool.
Yeah. So there's like, people had like different little hacks to do to level up characters, but they got rid of those. But they added a valuable way to make up for it. You still have to do some work, but hey, it's not as difficult to actually level them up. Aside from that, what else have I played? I played some more Gears. Been doing some brushing up on that whenever I get a chance, whether it's 5, 10, an hour, trying to get as much Gears as possible. That's just getting good at that game.
You're streaming that this week, right?
Yeah, I'll be going through that.
Do you have any special plans for the stream?
No, I'm gonna go into some ranked. I'm gonna start out with some. I would like to kind of maybe organize a free for all, get as many people as possible. That would be fun. Here's one
that'll work. I still feel like it still screws up every time you're trying to stream and people are playing online. Like,
we'll have to do a test for it before we actually try that. I'll try to get as many people as possible. I'll post to kind of gauge interest, see who's interested in doing it, and then we can kind of test it out and see. I would hope a couple of weeks in that it's a little bit more stable than it was.
Right, because the last time Blue and I were going through the story mode, like Blue was the one streaming, I was just in the party. I had no issues, but he was getting like that audio tearing stuff,
audio tearing
disconnects, and
we ended up DCing at the end of the stream.
Right, yeah, it's like really, really frustrating.
When I did stream it last, I had no issues with it, and I was going through ranked. I was going through PvP, which is a lot of different. But also, I don't know if they went back to the host situation where there were different hosts for different. Remember before where?
Yeah, I don't know if Gears has dedicated.
They
servers.
used to.
Did they?
I don't know if they do anymore. Yeah, the first one and the second one, there were different hosts. So like, I might be the host for this particular match, stuff like that. But I think they kind of got away from that. I got to double check. It's been a while. But anyway, gonna do some PvP on that. That was fun. The thing to getting good in Gears is getting that experience.
That's like with anything. Like
yeah. But
I thought you was gonna say something a lot
right.
more.
Like, okay, let me get these keys.
A lot of people I talk to is like, oh, I'm just not good at it. It's like, well, you got to play a little bit. You got to learn what how to shoot here, what to do here, what to do there, and it'll kind of flow into you. You got to play with the different weapons to get experience with them, not just I'm just not good at it. No, you got to give it. It's different. Anytime I went from playing Gears to Halo, there was always that readjustment period because they're
Gears is so heavy.
They're two completely different games.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're shooters, but they're completely different. And sometimes you got to take that readjustment period. So people going from different shooters to Gears might not necessarily be as good as they were in those other shooters until you play a little bit more. So you got to give it a shot.
I feel like you're talking to me. Also,
I was talking to you so that way you knew. You know what I mean?
My problem with Gears is when you're looking down sights, I feel like it zooms in way too much, and you lose your peripheral vision like crazy. And that's on any gun.
Aren't meant to be zoomed in now. Now, the shotgun is a zoom in here and there, but it's the Ganasher is basically made to be kind of blind fired.
He said Ganasher.
Yeah, that G is silent.
Hey, don't judge me. Don't judge me.
No, but even like with the Nasher, when you look down sights, it zooms in so much you can't really. It's hard to track where, where your enemy went if they're rolling out the way or something like that.
That's why
I do think that's intentional. That's part of the feel of the game.
That's annoying
because they don't want you to be able to like zoom straight in and then like spin 360 degrees to follow somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what you can do in real life, and that's what you do in most other games. So I feel like it's the most unrealistic portrayal of a shotgun.
Yeah, I think by the time the first persons might be like that. It's a
I'm
third.
talking about me person, like shooting a
Oh,
shotgun. You know what I mean?
have you shot plenty shotguns before in practice?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good to
It
know.
was part of our weapons test in when I joined the Navy, and it's you know I just feel like that zoom in almost defeats the purpose of a shotgun
Mm.
by narrowing your field of vision on a widespread firearm.
Well, you did say yourself that you never felt like any of your actual real life gun experience translated over to video games. So
True, true, but this one's so far off of it.
gotcha.
It's yeah. But anyway, go ahead, Jeff.
Hey man, yep, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
Okay,
Cool,
I
cool.
can go next if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for
I do
Uh,
not. Blue, please proceed.
it.
For the most part, my review actually came out a couple of days ago, but I played Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. If you guys remember, Ukulele was that platforming game that was made by a bunch of ex-Rare developers.
Oh, okay,
The
yeah,
team
yeah.
was behind the original Banjo-Kazooie. They left, did a big Kickstarter project, and created another 3D platformer called Ukulele, which was kind of middling. Like, it had a lot of good ideas, but it kind of didn't seem all the way fleshed out, probably because of money and time and stuff. It was a Kickstarter project.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to fund their next big game by releasing a sort of smaller project. It's like a 2.5D platformer with an excuse me, 2.5D platformer with an overworld.
He's getting choked up.
Right, yeah.
This is very emotional.
This is emotional story here.
Nostalgia.
But
That's so good. It's
like
precious.
if you've ever seen or played Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, like the most recent one, it's pretty much exactly that.
Wow.
And I'm not a fan of the Donkey Kong games, like I
Yeah.
never have been, but I really loved Ukulele. Like it's so much fun as a platformer. Like
Huh.
the levels are like big and sprawling. Like you can find all sorts of secrets like by like going behind things, going backwards in certain places. They're like split paths, so you'll see like a secret someplace and you can't actually jump up there to get it, and it's because you probably missed something. Like there are crates that you can break through, but if you like maybe waited a second or two, you could have jumped on top of them and then got to someplace else or whatever that was off screen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's hiding all sorts of stuff inside the actual levels, but in the overworld where you go, travel between levels, all of that has a bunch of secrets and stuff too. So like there's all sorts of puzzles where you can like pick up an apple, or not an apple, or like a bomb fruit, and then, like blow up a rock in the wall like Legend of Zelda style, and then find like a cave that has all these secret things.
Oh, okay.
So like they hide things in the overworld like tonics, that they act as modifiers on the levels. Some of them are like useless in terms of they don't add anything. They'll just like change like the filter of the level, so it'll look like a film or it'll look black and white. Or
Yeah.
it'll change Ukulele's character model, like you can make them change colors or stuff like that. And then other ones will make the game actually harder. Like there's one that turns the entire screen upside down. And
That's not fun.
it's not.
Like
But the
I'm
thing
that I'm that person that's playing like this.
yeah, you probably could
and
try to
it's
cheese it.
like,
But the reason you'd want to do that, like do these modifiers that make things harder, is because it'll add a multiplier to the quills, which is like the currency collectible.
got you.
And some of those quills you actually need to like open lock doors and whatever for puzzles in the overworld. So like everything kind of feeds back into each other. So it's like, oh, I want more quills. I want more of these secret coins that are hitting around because I use them to open up gates that get me to more levels and blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the most unique thing about the whole game is when you play the levels, all of them have a different state. So and they're not. It's not like a light world, dark world thing where everything has one version and a second version. They're all completely different. So one level will be basic and it's kind of water themed, and then you
Okay.
find like a freezing fruit out in the overworld. You throw that on that level, and then the level all completely freezes over, and it's basically a brand new level because like there'll be familiar elements in it, and you'll see certain
But now
things
you're
like
sliding
yeah, like
around.
water spouts that were like moving up and down before are now just frozen as steps or something.
Yeah.
And
And,
that,
like-
that probably leads into like other secret
Right,
things.
yeah. So like there's stuff that you'll see in the level that you can't figure out how to get to, but then once you change the state, you're like, oh, this is just the next path for this whole other thing.
Gotcha.
So like
That's pretty cool.
lots and lots of replay value, even in the similar state. But then when you change the state, then you're switching up everything as well. So I had
Yeah.
a whole lot of fun. I was hoping to actually play it with Starboy this past Wednesday for our stream, but the embargo didn't drop until the day after. So
Oh, that's a shame.
we'll
You guys doing
probably
it this week?
no, because he's going to be at his mom's house this Wednesday,
okay.
so I'll be playing Code Vein, I think. But when he's back,
That's
I think
right.
we're definitely gonna hop on Ukulele so I can see what he thinks of it. Because he was watching me play it, and he was like, "Oh, Daddy, what's this game? I never played this game." So that was actually a whole lot of
Let
fun.
me get in. Let me get in on that.
Yeah, there's no like co-op or anything, so that blows. But
Like that's six. That's it.
Pass the controller, man.
and
It's that old
it's really
school
like kid
co-op.
friendly too. Like if you die like a whole bunch, it'll offer you the chance to just skip the checkpoint to like the next thing. So like
Yeah.
If I get, hey, like you want to, what game was that? Is actually you want to lower the difficulty after you die a bunch of times?
Yo,
there's
there's a couple of them
games
that be
that
doing
did that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo,
Hey, sure, this is where you
don't
want
be
to be
doing
right
that to
now.
me. Like, you're not gonna disrespect me like
Yeah,
that
are
in
you
front of my friends.
sure? We can make it a little easier on you. Just give me the go ahead. We'll change that up for you, buddy.
But yeah,
Yo,
I
them
haven't.
fine words.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say them fine words. Like if we playing Mortal Kombat couch, looking at each other in the face, say, hey man, you want me to go a little bit easier on you?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you gonna take
like,
a whole lot of offense.
We're fighting. We're fighting right there.
I'll let you
It's
pick my
just
character.
it's just law. Hey, I'm gonna
ultimate
choose
disrespect.
random, and then you choose who you want.
Yeah.
That is.
So that's pretty much all I've been playing that I can talk about. I haven't been able to play any of my own games
Yeah.
for a while now. Been really really busy. But Blue, what is it you've been playing?
Okay, so Final Fantasy 14, I love that game. We're prepping for the new patch that we talked about a couple weeks ago, 5.1, the Near Automata crossover, and there's a couple mechanic changes that I'm super excited for. And so yeah, so this past week I was going through dailies, and we're kind of prepping the free company to move into this new segment. There's lots of news coming out. First of all, 5.1 drops. Hearing now it's early December, which is a lot farther away than I
Yeah,
expected.
that seems like it's a bit of a while.
Yeah.
That's a bad time to drop it because that's a lot of stuff is coming out for the holiday season.
Yeah.
Or a lot of stuff would have just come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone's attention is going to be split, so it's kind of funky. But that's kind of like the bad of the Final Fantasy news. But the good is that they're releasing a lot more information on the rest of the patches coming up. 2, 3, and 5.4, I think. Notes are coming out for those already, which is pretty crazy. So we can really schedule out what work needs to be done by what time, and get some clear free company goals. So I'm excited about that, and that's what we've been kind of running through. It's funny because when I talk about playing Final Fantasy, it's less about playing it and more about managing my peoples and managing my free company. And but that's part of the role playing.
Right.
That's part of the experience.
Yeah, that's part of that free company experience.
Exactly.
Kind of managing your guild and getting everybody where they need to be.
Yeah.
Also giving them mounts when they ask for them. That's also
Not really. I don't know.
That is. I think that's like a big part of it.
I mean, you have to be
I'll
online to
very,
get it
very
if you're going to do
come
it.
back if I got a mount. You know what I mean? If I got
okay.
My Chocobo is just boring. He's just
Yeah, because you don't nurture him. But that's you. That's you. You do you. I'm
They're gonna give you like a baby chocobo or something.
So yeah, Final Fantasy 14, and I've been usual Overwatch, but the one thing that I've been playing that's new that I told you guys about yesterday, my girl and I got back into Magic the Gathering. We're doing some offline play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
physical cards, right?
Physical cards, not arena, and I'm not crapping on arena, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actual cards. We bought 4 starter decks.
So this wasn't stuff you had lying around and got back into. Y'all just went ham, like, oh, let's buy some Magic and let's start magicking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Some magic.
That's almost exactly the verbiage we used.
Yeah, I thought it. I was like, oh, look at this Johnny deck somebody got.
But the Throne of Aldraine, that whole series just dropped their dual color decks. Now, while we're just doing monos, we felt like it was a good time to jump into it. And there's some really cool planeswalkers involved. We ran a couple matches pretty much all day yesterday, like on and off. And we had a really good time. It's
very fairy tale inspired. I don't know if you saw that through some of the deck.
Yeah, it was. I love the themes of the decks and how I got to tell you, the artwork on all these cards, it's so detailed, and some of them are actually really funny when you read everything. The text and the little quotes and stuff like that. You're like, oh, this dude just got messed up. But the cool thing about the new decks, and they didn't have it as much in the core decks in the past, but the little player's guide that they have just really explains everything and makes it real easy to grasp the point of your deck and how to use it.
Oh, so they have that in different decks. So that's
they
pretty
have
cool.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
So they have
that's definitely useful for somebody who's coming back to it or brand new, I would think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's pretty much like if you buy a new deck, you don't really know what the strategy is in that deck. It might be burn, it might be mill, it might be, counters on creatures. So being able to pull it up and say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be kind of working towards. This is the energy that's within that deck.
It shows you
yeah,
all of the effects of your main cards. So let's say your deck has a whole bunch of trample. On this little sheet of paper, it says trample means XYZ. So every time you see it, you're like, okay, yeah, that's one of my main abilities that I'm going to be using. So I was really impressed. I love the artwork. I love the cards. It comes with the booster pack. We got some fun stuff that we threw in there. And yeah, we're looking to possibly do a weekly thing. And if we get the consistency, we'll definitely put it on stream. I'll see some
yeah, that'd be interesting to watch.
I like to duel you on the stream. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's probably a possibility, right? Yeah, this is like online.
Yeah. Jeff, I keep an eye on Blue's camera. He doesn't
No, I need to keep an eye on Jeff's camera. Okay. Jeff with his side deck.
And also it'd be good for new players who haven't played it, might be interested in it, like KC. Yeah. Be able to see kind of how it goes and hey, okay, this is pretty interesting.
I've seen how it goes.
Have you?
The thing is, I'm super interested. I'm actually very interested in not trading card games. What do you call it? Is that what they're called? TCGs?
Yeah. Trading card game.
Yeah, because they're basically like roundabout ways of chess. It's like logic games, right?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
So I'm really into that. It's just the investment.
That's a very good comparison. I'm proud of you.
Well, here, when you talk about the investment, right? I'll say one thing that I was actually kind of surprised when I went to the store to pick up the decks. They're only $15 for a core set.
Yeah, and
for
that's
a
where
whole
you
deck
start.
and a
you don't
booster.
Want to start with building your own deck. Your own deck comes in later once you understand the mechanics. Mm-hmm. You get some card knowledge. You want to get those pre-made decks so that way, okay, this is what I'm supposed to. It's already made for you. You got the right mana curve. You got the right amount of spells and creatures for whatever your deck is going towards. We build our own decks. So I'll see cards I like. I'll build a strategy based on those cards and different spells and creatures that complement that strategy. I have a goblin deck and it's built on putting massive amounts of goblins out. And then I have a card that's on the battlefield. Whenever I play a creature, you take 2 damage. So if I'm getting goblins every turn, 20 goblins, guess what?
That's already 40 damage right there. It gets up twice. Mm-hmm. But yeah. No, and just like Jeff said, the theme decks are really cool. And this is how I like to describe a match of Magic, right? I'm a sorcerer, you're a sorcerer, and we are on opposite sides of a huge valley on top of a mountain. Okay. Just bear with me.
All right. I'm still here.
Okay. So the whole valley is barren. There's nothing there. So every time you play a land, that little chunk of land comes to life. So if you're playing a blue deck, it's going to be like a beachfront. If you're playing a black deck, it's going to be a swamp. And so on and so on. So you get to revitalize, put life into this land. Okay. Then the land gives you energy to summon things, right? Now, the things, the creatures or whatever spells you use normally stay on the ground, but if you got flying, it goes overhead, and that's why I can get over, and that's why y'all both are on mountains. So that's the visual I like to set up initially so people understand what flying is, what trample looks like, all that stuff, and when I was talking to my girl about it yesterday, and she's like, that makes a lot more sense, and you can kind of visualize exactly where things are going. That's why I'm when I say I'm flying over, she knows what I'm talking about. Yeah,
that's actually a very good way to explain it, because a lot of people don't actually get some of that stuff first, like first strike and that type of stuff.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Oh, and they have little cards, just like reminder cards of basic rule mechanics. That's really helpful in little disputes about how the game's played or how combat damage is dealt. It's on a little card. They show you, and okay, cool, that's it. The rules aren't a huge, big old pamphlet like it used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that kind of stuff is intimidating.
It's
Some of that stuff you gotta won't learn until you come across it. You might not necessarily play against somebody that has trample. So
and you're like, what does that mean?
What trample is.
You got a little card that gives you a little note card.
Cool. I'm glad somebody else got into it. Who got back into it.
I think he's looking at sick bud.
Okay, I got other stuff to do. Is that gonna wrap it up for you, Blue?
Yeah. Oh, also, this might sound bad, but it's the truth. There's some little Korean kid on this mobile game who keeps attacking my city. The Rise of Kingdoms one I was talking about. Yo, every time I come back to it, my city's on fire, and I'm gonna find you, little boy.
It's gonna be some 60-year-old woman,
right?
I'm gonna find you, little woman. No, they sent me a message in Korean. I had to translate it, and it says something about "Welcome to Club Suck" or something like that. It was like, y'all think I'm lying? I'll take the screenshot.
That's funny.
But it was horrible grammar. That's the basics insult I took out from that. And obviously, I'm not saying that he has bad grammar. It's just
it's just the way it got translated.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm gonna find.
Well, enjoy your time in Club Suck.
Yeah.
We're going to move on into our topics for this week. Not too many this week, kind of slow news cycle. But we did get a brand new trailer for the movie Birds of Prey, starring Margot Robbie's Harley
Quinn.
You guys all watched it?
Yeah.
What are your takes?
It looks good. For me, Black Mass is a very underutilized villain.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember him from the Arkham games,
right? Yeah, I do.
He's very underutilized, and he's played by
Ewan
McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. Yeah. Obi-Wan. Yeah, Obi-Wan
Kenobi. And that bear being gone makes a huge difference to me not to recognize him.
He does look really different.
I watched Moulin Rouge, and that's why I'm okay with that now.
He took it back. But yeah, so, it looks great. They have the Huntress. They have they didn't have Canary.
Yeah, they did. Black Canary.
Okay.
See, that was kind of part of my issue with the trailer is that I couldn't really tell who a lot of the other characters were supposed to be. Yeah, like the crossbow, I guess. Yeah, that's how I guess Huntress, because she had the crossbow. But everybody else, I'm like, okay.
I didn't see a canary cry, so I thought that. From one.
When she was singing on stage, the glasses started shaking.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
That's how I knew, but it was real subtle.
Yeah,
but that's how I knew.
If you're not familiar with the Gotham City Sirens, they were kind of like a ragtag of different villains and hero women who kind of came together to kind of take up the fights that Batman didn't have time to handle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Batman's up here. He's not gonna be dealing with everybody down.
Nah, he ain't gonna be down there.
when he's fighting gods and stuff on the streets.
Like Darkseid and whatnot.
He's fighting gods with money.
But you gotta think about it. Gotham isn't really that small. So Batman and Robin and Nightwing or whoever can't be everywhere at once. So it made sense for these, and it was like women empowerment. So you got these women who came together to fight against a society who, was trying to beat them down.
Throwing them away.
Yeah, that was pretty much male dominated.
So
even as villains, most of them.
In the comic version or the actual story version outside the movie, does it also kind of focus on the fact that Harley is separating herself from Joker and it's her trying to reform herself?
So
that's a huge plot point.
A lot of that, if you notice from the Batman series from the 90s, a lot of that you see how Joker treated Harley.
Yeah.
Because he knew she was dependent on him, he could pretty much do whatever the hell he wanted.
Oh yeah, and he did.
Yeah, so he was just she was just something for her to use. So it kind of dealt with, you had Harley Quinn, you had Poison Ivy, you had
they were dating for a while actually.
Exactly, you had these women coming together to kind of to find out who they wanted to be without men or even Joker, because he had put
mentally and
That's
physically
my pudding,
abused.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
she did.
abuse
Even,
essentially. Yeah,
yeah, even how he turned her into Harley Quinn, it was through, you
Yeah.
know, you charmed her at
manipulation and
first,
Deep
stuff, right?
and then
manipulation.
manipulation, abuse, and that's how he kind of kept a hold on her. So it was great to see. It was great to see her come out as her own character and kind of be who she was without the Joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One thing I wanted to bring up, the tagline. It's called Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the One Harley Quinn. I thought that was so fantastical,
Yeah,
dramatic.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
They
I thought
want
it
to put
was,
the emphasis on Harley Quinn because she's such a Margaret Robbie's Harley Quinn was so well received. So they want to
Yeah.
make
it
it
really
stand
was.
out.
It
Yeah,
was
so
probably
they want to make it
the
stand out.
first and best received Harley Quinn. Like,
Yes.
Well,
I
I don't
can't
know
think of
about
too many in the past.
well the if you don't know the an animated series Harley Quinn was made for the series. Like
Yes.
she wasn't in the comics
Yeah,
until that. So she was always popular ever since her introduction there.
but not
But I
live
don't yeah,
action.
but I don't think there's ever been a live action one.
No, there
Has there?
hasn't been a live action one. No,
Yeah,
there
so this is the
hasn't.
first time. So it could just be
They only
Harley Quinn by herself is just something that people love and latch onto for whatever reason. Like I don't have really much
I
insight
mean, it's the
as to
same.
why.
She definitely siphoned off Joker hype and made her own persona.
yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, yeah,
True,
it's,
but even before the Joker hype, like she was always like super popular.
yeah, her character was just
Oh, yeah,
very
yeah.
well received, and because of she was nutty, she was fun, she did what she wanted to do. She was, and at that time there weren't a lot of think about it, 90s Batman, Superman. You didn't have a lot of, yeah, I will say, women who were getting a lot of showtime. You know what I mean? Even like you had
Mhm.
Batgirl and stuff like that. They weren't very well. They didn't have a lot of screen time, pretty much.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
You wind up having whole episodes about Harley Quinn. You know what I mean? And she kind of evolved. You started seeing her in different mediums, like I don't know, like
I mean, you got
TV.
2 shows of her coming out right now.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
her
But she was in the Arkham. She was in Arkham series. She was
Yeah.
in.
and she actually got playable levels if you remember.
Yeah.
Like there was like
Mhm.
some
Even
side
in,
content where you played as her.
She's in Mortal Kombat, or not Mortal Kombat.
Injustice.
Injustice. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But yeah, so it's great to see that they are using that character. So people might not necessarily know what Birds of Prey is, but they see, oh, the Harley Quinn,
Right, yeah, that's gonna drag them in.
and it feeds into that women empowerment movement where she's getting emancipated. She don't need no man.
Yeah.
She's gonna
She
do her
got
own
girls.
thing. She's gonna pay her own bills.
Mhm.
I'm going to see that. So it's great to see, and they rounded off with Huntress and Black Canary,
Yeah.
and so it's
So-
great to see they have some villains and heroes working together.
So just now, you was trying to list all the girls that they showed up, and there's one missing, right? It's that the little Asian girl. I had to look it up.
Cassie Kane.
It's Cassandra Cain,
Cassandra
right?
Cain. She's supposed to be a very good fighter in the DC universe. She's actually trained by Lady Shiva. And,
Yeah. Well, that's
yep,
her. That's her
Isn't-
mom.
her
Something
mother.
like
Yeah.
that.
Cassandra
Yeah.
Cain, isn't that Batwoman?
Exactly.
Yes.
Also, she's supposed to be mute. So I went back, like I said, I was looking through who are all these women, right? Okay, I knew 3 of them, and then the last one I was just like, oh, Cassandra Cain, Batwoman. Let me read up on this version of Batwoman. She's supposed to be mute. What the heck is going on?
Well, there's
This
been
is the
different
sassy
iterations of
little
her where
girl.
she hasn't always been mute because it's hard to portray a mute character in an animated series. So a lot of times they've kind of changed it up. If you remember the
I'm gonna say
Batman-
this. There's no excuse.
Batman Blood or Batman Bad Blood or whatever it was, where it dealt with the different, like you had Nightwing, you had Robin, you had the new it was a black Batman character. Was the
Lucius
son
Fox's
of,
son.
Lucius Fox, yeah.
Batwoman.
So you had Batwoman, you had those different kind of the Bat family working together. She wasn't muting that, but
I still think that's no excuse.
I
You can
didn't
do
know
a
that
good
that
character.
that character had ever been mute,
And most-
to be honest.
And here's the thing: a lot of people aren't going to pay that. If the movie's good and her character is sound, they're not going to really pay attention to her. Oh, she was mute in the comics.
I thought that was a big plot point. That's like one of the only things I've heard about her whenever and I'm not huge on, especially on the DC side of comics. But when I've heard her mention, mute was the first adjective that comes in. And so I don't know. Hopefully
You
what
got
they
to
do with
remember,
it is great, but
there's been different
yeah,
reincarnations of different universes. You had the New
most
52.
definitely.
You had
Yeah.
Rebirth. You
Yeah.
had the Golden Age, the Silver Age of comics. You got to remember, like, so different iterations. She might have been mute, but in the New 52, she wasn't. So
We'll see.
it depends on where they're getting their source material from. It's
Yeah.
kind of where the characters, and it looks like they're pulling it from all over different places to kind of go into the movie. I'm interested to see how much I want to say new stuff they're going to add, not so much from the comic material, to see kind of how they find a balance between what some fans already know and what they're kind of going to put their own spin on.
So this clearly is kind of branching off of Suicide Squad. It's the same character from that movie. Suicide Squad was a pretty fairly terrible, like in terms of reception.
I liked
right?
it.
You liked
think
it?
was bad either.
Really?
I don't
Okay.
know why.
I thought that movie was
I don't
actually
know why.
really, really
I need
bad.
to rewatch it
bad.
because
I
a lot
really
of
did
people
not like that
hate
movie
it.
at all. So I'm
Like,
but the
Go
other
ahead,
thing
go
is the trailer for Suicide Squad was actually pretty good.
yeah,
And
I
then
didn't
for
like
the movie,
trailer.
you didn't like the trailer
No. I didn't like the trailer that
For-
much for
Birds of Prey. Oh, okay. Because yeah, I kind of feel like the trailer was fine. Like it didn't like get me hyped for anything. Maybe part of that is due to me being so down on Suicide Squad, but I don't know. I'm not really expecting much from it. So if it does turn out to be a lot better, then I feel like I'll be pleasantly surprised. But as of now, my expectations are kind of low for this project. Not anything against Margot Robbie or whatever, but just the universe it comes from just has not done a great job.
I feel like you were born with a lot of hate in your blood, so I feel like
All right, you
that's
see,
one
Jeff
of the
takes
reasons why
you
are so skeptical.
dissent against DC stuff so personal.
Oh
like,
my
it's
gosh.
hilarious.
I'm just pointing that out. You know what I mean? You just have a lot of hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart, and
Because DC is garbage and it will never be good.
DC, you know what I mean? So I feel like you are going in as a pessimist right off the bat. You know what I mean?
But I told you why. Like I
Yeah,
told
he
you why.
did.
So the Suicide Squad trailer looked dope. I was kind of high. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cool. Like I want to see Will Smith as a Deadshot. I was hoping Jared Leto's Joker would be, you know, a really good interpretation because I like Jared Leto as an actor. None of that stuff really hit. I mean, Will Smith was fine. He was Will Smith as he always is, and Margot Robbie was okay, but pretty much everybody else in that movie was forgettable. Like the plot was dumb. The bad guy, that whole situation was very dumb. Like the fights weren't good. Like it was bad. It was really bad to me.
It was
So-
just, to me, it was a C plus. But you know, hopefully they learn from that.
Right?
James
Yeah.
Gunn
Hopefully they
is
can actually
directing
turn
this
it
one.
around.
So we'll see how kind of not Guardians 2, Suicide Squad 2 works out. Hopefully they've learned from their mistakes as far as that goes.
And it got a new director, so
Yeah,
James Gunn is going to be taking that over.
yeah. So hopefully, he puts his spin on it. And we kind of change some minds. You know what I mean? Open some hearts to what the DC universe can offer, and kind of overcome some of that, prejudice. from certain
Well, I
people.
didn't see who's directing this, so I don't know.
Oh, Birds of Prey, I didn't see either.
Yeah, I
All right.
didn't-
We'll
I didn't see
get
it.
back to you
I just watched the
guys
trailer.
with that little snippet. So it looks like we'll be open minded, but also you got to know what the target audience is. It's gonna a lot of little girls and women and then some fans, hardcore fans are gonna want to go see this. So think about it. I mean, little girls are gonna love this movie because that's Harley Quinn.
And then they get to see all these other not Harley Quinn
Exactly.
characters.
And it
too.
introduces them to a whole new, bridge. Because where's she come from? Where'd this come from? And it starts to kind
That's
of
true.
pique people's interest into the DC universe. So hopefully, I'm hoping it works because any good movie in DC universe is great for the overall cinematic
Franchise.
universe.
Oof.
Yes. And
That's a heavy
we need
claim
some wins.
because
We need some wins.
yeah, a win. I will say
Shut your mouth.
I just caught that.
the trailer. I'm excited for the movie somehow. I don't know why. I feel it because it's the unique premise, right? But the trailer was so bad to me only because of you couldn't differentiate who was who. It was not obvious.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
And I think
I
that'll be
had to look at
explained.
them.
That'll be explained. A lot of people who might not know about comics, let's say if this is your first seeing this, like, oh, what's this trailer? Oh, it's Harley. I know Harley Quinn. Everybody knows who Harley Quinn is, but who are these other people? And
Exactly. But
so I think the movie will kind of address some of that.
I
It's
hope
like
it does. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. But
well,
I'm saying,
but it's
for
also
the purpose of a trailer, I don't think the trailer did a good job of highlighting who these women are.
Yeah, because ultimately you would be like, oh,
It's a
Harley
Harley.
Quinn. So then you're paying attention, but then they show you, oh, who's that girl with the crossbows? You look it up. You say, oh, who's that girl who's singing on a stage? Like that's
You
not
wouldn't even
really,
think to
yeah,
look her up.
exactly, because that's not gonna get you anywhere. Like, oh, who's that girl who was yelling at them? Like that's not gonna.
Well, you got to think about it. Even if you saw her do her canary cry, unless you know who the Black Canary is, you're not going to know. Oh,
But no, but that's what I'm saying. If you saw that, it was like, oh, what DC character can break stuff with their voice? You'll get led to Black Canary.
Yeah.
will you though?
Yes, that's what I just said.
I mean, not unless you know who Black Canary is, or you go into
No,
your
that's not
research.
true.
Yeah, that is
That's not
true.
true.
So, like,
It's not true.
If you've never dealt with DC Comics or know who or come across any iteration of Black Canary, and you see some woman screaming and breaking stuff, you're not going to know that's Black Canary because you have no initial knowledge
Exactly,
of-
which is why
Okay.
you'll search for who's the girl who can break stuff with her voice, and
Yeah,
then you'll
and
get
the way
Black
it is
Canary.
now, the way it is now, you're not going to look up that character because she didn't
Yeah,
stand
because
out.
exactly, she didn't do anything that stands out. She didn't
Just a
do
subtle
like 30
shake of the
backflips.
glass.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
who's
Enough for you
a
to
girl?
see?
Who's a character in DC who can do like 30 backflips in a row? Like, there's nothing to go on because you just showed you a
30
bunch of women.
backflips. Why is that so specific?
Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next topic. We've been on this for way too long. This story is actually just an update to one of our earliest topics. That whole situation with Randy Pitchford, who's the head of
wow.
Gearbox, the developer behind Borderlands 3.
Mr. Pitch-
Apparently, he was having some legal problems with an ex-employee who was the attorney. That's all apparently been settled now. So, Randy Pitchford has been exonerated of all accusations. As you remember, he was accused of embezzling money, up to $12 million from the company. He was accused of, and this kind of didn't have anything to do with the lawsuit. But the guy just
USB drive.
he was just being super petty, and just threw in there that he left a USB drive full of company secrets and porn in a medieval times, and it had nothing to do with anything. But that was also cleared up and said like, no, that wasn't true. Like blah blah blah.
The thing I found weird about that whole thing was like he's like what, like 50 something? Like what are you doing in the medieval times? So, like,
I mean, he's got kids. I'm guessing.
I mean, yeah.
He probably.
I just thought
kids.
that whole situation was funny. When I'm reading it, I was like, okay, he left the USB. What? Why is he mad about a USB at a medieval times? What you doing with the USB at a medieval times with company secrets? Why are you bringing that to medieval times? And porn.
And
like,
porn on it.
bro, what are you doing?
It's hilarious, but apparently all the parties have now settled things. Like they've said apologies supposedly, but the details of their settlement, of course, aren't going to be disclosed to the public. But that whole
What's the
situation.
scariest part of that article, though?
Yeah.
From the very last line.
So after all of this has been, swept under the rug and pieced up, the ex-attorney who had started the suit in the first place is now taking on a position representing the NRA. So that's his new job now.
What? That's so scary.
So that kind of just paints this guy as
Suspect number one.
yes, very, very suspect because I mean the NRA has not had a good track record of being forthright and I don't want to get into a whole thing
shady because obviously some of the stuff you came up with wasn't factual. Now you're going to work for a shady organization or take up a shady job doing something shady to begin with.
Yeah, like handling publicity and legal stuff for kind of a shadow organization. So it really just because honestly, Randy Pitchford was not coming out in the best light for the as
with the
things
claptrap
proceeded.
and everything
Right? Yeah.
else. Yeah.
There was a lot of negative news kind of surrounding him, in particular. So then. This really does kind of change that conversation. It doesn't make it seem like, oh, well, maybe Randy's not that big of a jerk.
Yeah. So it's good to see, and I'm glad that like none of that negative publicity kind of affected the game. So because that would have been fair to the team that
development
that
team.
worked on it. So that I'm glad to see that none of that kind of trickled down, and he did kind of take a step back after some of this.
Yeah, he finally did after like that a couple of
not,
reveals.
Yeah, as to not diminish the Borderlands 3 in any type of capacity. So I'm glad he was exonerated since he didn't do it. And I'm also glad that the game did well, um, as opposed to, lower sales being affected by some of the negative publicity.
Right. But I mean, was there anything else you guys want to add about this story in particular, or?
Nope. Just I wanted
Because this was more of a follow up to that original story.
Certain people in the NRA are scary. Next topic.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, that much is true, and that's exactly where this guy went. But anyway,
that's what scared me about Joker too, when I went to go watch it. But we'll talk about that later.
Ooh, okay.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole other thing. So this is some downer news. The development team Alpha Dream, who was behind the Mario and Luigi RPG games that were coming out on the DS and 3DS back in the day, they've actually filed for bankruptcy. So that development team is basically on the outs.
Sad.
And it's really weird because those games did really well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think they released too much in too little a time span at one point. If I remember, they released like 2 or 3 games within the same year that are Paper Mario games a while back.
And not Paper Mario, the Mario and Luigi.
RPG.
Oh, excuse me. Then just take back all of that I just said. But I do remember the Mario and Luigi games. Those were really fun when I was growing up. And it's sad. I don't know. Maybe Paper Mario got a lot more popular than those and kind of pushed them out.
Honestly, sort of, right?
That might be
because after what was it called? Mario RPG, Super Mario RPG, Legend of the something. I forget. That was like a very, very popular Super Mario RPG game, right? And people have been clamoring for more of that for a while now. But what they got was instead Paper Mario, the first one.
True.
Which was sort of RPG-like, but not like the other one. But then the following Paper Mario games ended up being much more platformer-like.
Yeah.
With like maybe slight RPG elements.
Yeah.
So this series, Mario and Luigi, I think the first one was like Superstar Saga or something, and then like there was Bowser's Inside Story and all other stuff like that. Those kind of took up the mantle for being like unique RPG type Mario games. Like they had, I know for a fact that they were praised for like having very, very witty and funny writing.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is, I didn't know that Nintendo
They're doing so bad.
wasn't actually behind them. I didn't know like this was some third party
that was
developer.
Pretty weird that they were going bankrupt. I'm like, well, I thought they were under Nintendo's umbrella.
Right, yeah.
Since they were developing first party games.
Yeah, so it seems like they just had access to the license, and which is very rare. Like Nintendo doesn't give the Mario license to just anybody.
Nobody, yeah. And I'm surprised that they're not.
It's sad that they let them go out.
They didn't try to take them under their umbrella.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like these guys are having this kind of financial hardship. They've produced high quality games in the Mario franchise for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Why? Where was Nintendo?
Yeah, because you got to
feel like
that's going to affect the stock price of the Nintendo brand in general. Oh, somebody who was creating first party Mario games is going bankrupt. What's going on with Mario?
It does look
so
bad.
Like, yeah. So people, I don't think it was them going bankrupt isn't a good thing for the industry anyway, but also sad for them. But also, I felt like Nintendo could have, or you would expect them to, kind of, I don't know, save them,
bail them out.
You know what I'm saying? Or assume them under their, brand. So it's just a little weird for me.
I feel like Alpha Dream is like the illegitimate child of Nintendo that, like.
Oh, you gonna learn?
No,
you gonna learn the hard way.
It's kind of like Nintendo is this big rich dude or whatever, and doesn't really want anything to do with Alpha Dream, but occasionally sends money or something like that. I feel like they're not taking care of the people that held together a good part of their brand, and it's sad. It's sad.
Do you think part of their kind of Alpha Dream being ignored is the release of the Switch? Because those Mario and Luigi games were, they were handheld only, and they fit a certain aesthetic that would go great on a handheld. But now that Nintendo sort of has this handheld console hybrid, maybe they aren't interested in putting more experiences that look like just handheld games on it.
Yeah,
because
that's sad.
Most of that is being taken over by like the indie market. and Nintendo themselves are focusing on maybe bigger things, maybe.
Well, yeah, some
I don't
people
know,
love
like, but
that
what's bigger than
experience.
your own brand and your main star? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true.
What
Yeah.
is more important than that?
Well, I
And
mean,
you're gonna
they,
let a piece of that die?
Like
And
anything
now,
that has to do with
that
Mario.
that doesn't make sense to me, honestly.
and
Yeah.
what gets me too is that, these guys have been working on this thing for a long time. It's not like it's an unpopular series. There's rarely negative reviews for these games. What's the problem? What's the problem? Like,
So here's a theory
and
that I've
the only
come up
thing I'm
with.
thinking is that they weren't hitting their numbers, and it was like their third strike or something like that.
See, that's the thing. Because I feel like all those Mario and Luigi games actually sold well. Like they were all very well received. People really loved them.
Maybe
So
they had too high of a threshold.
You got to think about it. In
that's
Japan,
possible.
what's more popular than Mario and RPGs? So you put them both together.
There's a lot of stuff more popular than RPGs. But
Pokemon,
I'm just saying. I just mean in Japan. I mean,
Naruto.
they love RPGs. I mean, it's like that's very big over there. You gotta think about all the JRPGs. So it's like you put Mario and Luigi, and you got RPG. It did very well in Japan. I mean, even before it came over to the U.S. So I just like I believe some of it's like Casey said. I mean, Nintendo's getting away from a lot of the Switch. I mean, a lot of the 3DS.
yeah, a
and
lot of the 3DS
DS,
connotations.
yeah. And I feel like they're trying to put all their eggs in that Switch basket and kind of get away from
Like these
the
smaller
yeah.
experiences. But here, I feel like it's specifically because those games have only been on the DS before. Because remember, the 3DS games would always be like $40 versus the console game, which would be $60. And first party games from Nintendo almost never go on sale. They're always stuck at the same price. So if say Alpha Dream was to produce a new Mario and Luigi game, which was in the same vein as those previous ones, and then release it on the Switch, then Nintendo would have to charge you $60 for this Switch game.
Ain't nobody paying 60.
Yeah, they wouldn't pay $60 for it because all the previous ones were 40. So I feel like
So what
that
you
might
do,
have been the
what
thing
you
that's
do
holding
is
them
you
from.
put all the previous ones together and make that a $60 bundle. That's how you do it.
But then there wouldn't be any reason to give them a new one unless they were going to do like a brand new thing, which maybe Nintendo doesn't want to fund.
That's true. Because a lot of people, what they did was what is it? They ported stuff over to the Switch, and then kind of got people interested in it, and then came out with a new iteration of it. But like you said, maybe that's not something that Nintendo wanted to fund or
Yeah,
thought
because
it wouldn't.
Nintendo specifically, like they don't change their prices.
Yeah.
So like
They
you
very
can get
rarely
away,
go
you
on
can get
sale.
away with porting old stuff or putting like stuff that was a long running console series and keeping it $40 or $30 or $20 when you're outside Nintendo. But Nintendo won't do that. Every single first party game they've released has been $60. Think about it. Link's Awakening, the remake, that's a Game Boy game. Of course they did, they reworked the entire art style for it. They added this kind of dungeon thing to it to, I guess, give it the appearance of additional value. But that is a remake of a very old Game Boy game, and that is $60 on Switch.
That's true.
Isn't that the first? No, that's not. What was the first Legend of Zelda game?
Just
Was it
The
Link's
Legend of
Awakening?
Zelda.
Oh,
first
well,
one?
okay. What's the second one? The
Yeah,
first
for
sequel, I
NES.
should say.
The first sequel was Zelda 2, which was like a side scroller.
Oh,
And then the
Well,
third
never mind.
one would be A Link to the Past, which was on SNES.
Link
Yes.
to the Past. That's what I was thinking about. I'm glad we have the Zelda historian here.
Yeah, I wrote
right?
the story.
With this.
He's
He's like, well, actually.
good job of covering a lot of. You have a lot of area of expertise in different, categories.
You talking about the team or?
I
just-
mean, yeah, just team in general. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Very well
yeah,
rounded.
Pretty much just
We-
me and Sigma, right?
Yeah, Casey's very specific.
We
Blue,
can-
I think your knowledge is kind of just focused on Overwatch. I think that's where
I have
Sleep and
plenty of
eat at.
Overwatch theories. Y'all don't understand. I'd be like coming up with names for our combos, like the Mercy Fist, Mercy and Doom Fist. Bro, we be going ham sometimes. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we can pat ourselves on the back some other time.
Don't get me hyped on Overwatch.
We're gonna move on from Mario and Luigi stuff. We really do hope those developers do find new jobs
Yeah,
and such, though.
Yeah,
But
good jobs and lucrative.
we're gonna move into some news about Monster Hunter World and Resident Evil crossing over.
Yo,
This was a hilarious trailer that the Monster Hunter Twitter posted.
Yeah,
it was
like
great.
Yeah,
it was funny. I like the whole Mr. X. You can dress the handle up as Mr. X.
Yeah,
I thought
so
that
if
was
you haven't
hilarious.
seen it, it's kind of like Claire and Leon. Like I think they're harkening back to like Resident Evil One. They walk into like that new gathering hub space in
Mm-hmm.
the new DLC, and it's like super dark and creepy. It looks like the Resident Evil One mansion, and then a bunch of hunter characters show up walking like zombies and with like skins and facial features like zombies. And then you see, Claire and Leon like using guns and knives and stuff, hunting monsters and stuff. And then at the end, you see Mr. X basically doing all the motions of the handler. So like they put a skin on the handler of
Yeah,
Mr. X, and he looks hilarious because he's like
that was
And
cool.
he's
doing
like feeding
dainty
them
things.
food.
He's giving you
He's
food.
like, "Good job, everybody."
Was anybody else waiting for the zombies to kind of break off into like a thriller dance?
No, they
They
did.
kinda
They
did.
literally were doing that in the trailer.
And that's what I was like. Oh, I didn't know if that was it, but it looked like I was waiting for the music.
Like it just looks like so much fun. Like they're having so much fun with mixing that world in Monster Hunter. Like it's the most silliest thing I've seen.
And
I
it's
have
just
to
in time for
say-
Halloween, so get ready
Right.
for all those Halloween crossover events for different games.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say My Hero, Monster Hunter World has done a really good job with their crossovers so far. Like the wide range of games that they're pulling from,
Right.
and they reverse crossover as well. I think those are awesome. With this one, the only thing that was confusing to me is if your character is a zombie in this one.
I think so.
'Cause that's what it looked
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
right? Now, it looks like your character is a zombie. So I'm trying to figure out why are Claire and Leon linking up with zombies to kill what's the zombie dragon? What's it called?
Oh, Valhazak.
Valhazak.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't
Right.
speak Hebrew, so it's really difficult for me. um, so yeah, so that was the only confusing part for me. But I also did see that you can. You get layered armor that looks like those characters.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing it is. It's like you can layer yourself to look like either one because that's how the Dante skin worked. That's how,
Yeah,
that's how
the
the
Ryu
Ryu
and Sakura skin
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm assuming that's that. Or it could be like how the Witcher DLC worked, where you do like a special mission as the Witcher.
as them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think you
True.
also get a layered armor as Geralt too, right? Or no?
Yeah, you do.
You do. Okay, so yeah, it could be like that. But it seems like there are like animations and emotes and stuff that can be applied to your character that make them walk like zombies and look like zombies and stuff.
Yeah, and because the thing is, it wasn't just like the emos that they were doing; they were in battle as zombies.
Yeah, and
dragging
they were like,
their
walking
feet,
around. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't because they do a lot of slick editing in a lot of these Monster Hunter videos. So it could be like that's just an emote and they were just doing it in the middle of the fight.
Yeah,
But I don't. So
It
I don't
looked
know.
like all of them were that way, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Right.
Yeah, I'm ready to cross that bridge when we get to it. Monster Hunter World, especially the Iceborne DLC, has been such a blessing on my video game list right now. No, I really like it, so I'm excited about this crossover.
So that's coming out when I'm blanking right now. It's October.
It's coming up soon.
Yeah,
Soon. Shit.
isn't it the week of Halloween or the week before? I think it's the week of, like the 25th or the 26th or something like that. Whatever that Tuesday is.
Right. All right. Well, if I find that in the near future, then then I'll let you guys know what that date is. But that's gonna do it for our topics today. I told you it wasn't too much in the way of news this week, but one of our dear listeners, friend of the show, Snix360, finally sent us some feedback, and you can too. You can definitely send us emails at bbetgaming@gmail.com.
Yep.
Snix asked us 2 questions.
Snicks. Thanks
Snick.
for sending us messages, bro.
Yeah,
thanks for
the
dialing
feedback.
in.
We always
Appreciate
love hearing from the fans and people
Of
who
course.
Support the show.
have some things we want to know.
Right.
And I'll definitely do my best to answer it for you.
So his first question, well, I'll just read the actual email. Love the podcast. I wanted to suggest a couple of topics. What
Aw.
video games do you guys find scary/horrifying? That's his first question. I'll give you guys the second one after we do this. I'll start. Honestly, I've never been a fan of horror video games because I don't know, like I don't like the feeling of being underpowered in a game. I find it more frustrating than it is
You like to be
scary.
the overpowered protagonist.
Well, I want it to feel fair. Like I want to feel like I have a fair chance. Like because I don't like it when it's overpowered too and everything's too easy.
He's mad neutral. He needs skill over.
Yeah, like
stats.
I want it. Yeah, honestly, I want it to be like, okay, it's you and me. We're going against each other, even playing field. I want to prove I'm better. Like that's kind of how I feel about it in most games. And horror genres like to take a lot of things away from you to make you feel scared of the entire world around you.
You start
and
scrambling.
I just feel frustrated, not so much scared. But I was legitimately scared of it was a thing that happened in a lot of games back then and not so much now. But when things that you can't kill chase you.
Oh my god.
Like,
yes.
and the thing that did it to me was, if you remember, Home Alone 2 movie had a tie-in game on Super Nintendo.
What?
It was awful.
I don't remember that.
It looks terrible, and it plays terrible. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense what you do in the game versus like how the movie played out. But we got it when we were kids, and we played through it multiple times. I don't think I ever beat that game because there's one enemy that me and my brother called the Fat Man. It was just like a big fat dude in a trench coat, and he would walk towards you, and you could not do anything to him in the level. You just had to find an exit and go to like some other floor in the hotel or whatever. But the thing is, he would keep coming. So he's kind of like Mr. X in that way.
Jason.
Like he'll just chase you, and you couldn't do anything. You just had to run because if he grabbed you, he'd turn you upside down, and it was game over.
Did you pee yourself a little bit every time he came?
No, but there's a boss fight where you are able to hurt him. But it's like he still just walks up to you, and when he grabs you, it's game over. Like you have to kill him before he touches you, or the boss fight's done. So it was just really frustrating. You have to stack up like all these bazooka weapons, these bazookas that had like boxing gloves on the front of them. You have to stack up like 10 or 13 of them, and just keep spamming them as he's like trying to get you to take him out. But it was always harrowing. I just hated that concept. Ever since then, anytime there was like a thing that chases you in a game that you can't immediately just kill and get rid of, it freaks me the hell out. but that's me. What about you guys?
For me, the first game that kind of scared me a little bit would actually been the first time I came across a mimic in Dark Souls.
Oh, right, yeah, because those definitely take you by surprise.
So if you don't know, mimics are these creatures that pretty much make themselves look like they have a head of a chest.
Treasure chest.
A treasure chest, right.
You'll be going there, it's like, oh, there's a treasure chest. I'm going to go open this. And, not paying attention, you go and open it, and then it just whoosh.
It just clamps down on you.
And a lot of times, it's a one-hit kill.
Yeah,
just dead.
They can definitely kill you in one hit.
So every chest after that was just like, I'm going to hit it.
Like poking it with the stick first.
Yeah, some of those chests I actually broke by accident.
Yeah, and Dark Souls is mean about that because if you hit a chest with too much damage, you destroy it and whatever was in it.
You get rubbish. Now, later I learned that you can see the chain coming from the side of the chest.
Right, there's a tell.
To learn that it's the mimic. But that first time, man, it was traumatizing. It was traumatizing. I was like, I never felt the way about chests like that again. It kind of made me like, treasure chest, do I want to open it?
Honestly, it's a thing that I do in other games now.
Yeah,
because Dark Souls traumatized you so much with checking.
Yeah, it leaves that like, is this really what it's supposed to be? Like, what's going on here? And even when you hit it and it woke up, that thing was weird to fight.
Yeah. It would still sometimes kill you, even after you figured out it was a mimic. You would still be very cautious of it.
Everything. I'm like, burn it with fire. Burn it with fire. Like, no, we're not playing this game. So that was a horrible experience.
Okay. For me, I actually had a list. I'm a scaredy cat. Honestly, I don't do horror games, just kind of like what Sigma said, mostly because I like my sleep, But you mentioned characters that you can't kill that keep chasing you, and that reminded me of Lu Bu from Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. If you ran into him on the field, there was very close to no escaping.
Yeah, he was a thief.
The only way to escape, and I found out one time, because me and my brother, we used to play co-op back on the original Xbox, right? And that was very difficult to set up. But anyway, we would try and like distract him and attack him together. Like his health was not going down. So we realized once he gets off his horse, you need to steal his horse because his horse is the fastest horse in the game and just book it. You just gotta go. So we would always used to scream, "Oh, it's Lobo! It's Lobo!" And my mom would be like, "Shut up!" You know what I mean? So why are you yelling about Bulu? It was a rough time in our lives. You know. So then down to actually like scary games. Back when we first started streaming, when we first started the team, we had someone else who was streaming with us, and he did horror games for a while.
Right.
Resident Evil 7. I sat in on a co-stream on one of those. Just the very beginning. Resident Evil 7 was scary as heck to me. I screamed.
With the
Profanities came out.
Yeah.
I'm normally pretty good about my censorship, and I was dropping F-bombs. I had to turn on all the lights and stuff like that. So, that
And that
game
was just you watching.
Yeah. That was just me watching. I wasn't even playing it. And you know what? That being said, I still enjoyed it. That doesn't mean I like horror games, but the way they set it up was pretty good. It was pretty good. And lastly, there's a game way back in the day called Fear. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
I remember that. I played that, I think.
Shooter, yeah. I played that.
Me and my friends, this was back in high school, me and my friends started playing that, and we were doing it during the day. Sun's out, birds chirping, rainbows and crap like that. I'm scared crapless in the middle of the living room, like, yo, we need to turn this off. Like, stuff was dripping off the ceiling, like blood was dripping off the ceiling, and people were coming out of it and yoking people up left and right. I was like, nah,
that was a good game.
Off. Put on back to
Mario.
Mario.
Settle in that game where you saw something and it went away, and then you would climb up the ladder, and you got the ladder, and you just so happen to look, and there she was.
And it's like right next to you.
Yeah.
Oh man, their jump scares were really good in that game.
What?
Yeah,
that's a very good pick. I like that. Yeah. I didn't know you liked good games like that. That was a good.
Oh, I didn't say I liked it. I just said it scared me.
Okay, all right, I take it back.
Yeah, I don't remember playing any of the story in that, but it did actually have like a multiplayer mode.
Yeah, the multiplayer was actually pretty good.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad.
It played like Perfect Dark a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I actually played that a little bit and enjoyed it then. But those are the games that scared us. Thanks for that question, Snix360. He has one more. He asks, if you had to choose which console out of Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, the current ones, would you utilize exclusively for gaming? So does anyone...
I mean, right now, Xbox.
Yeah, I think that's pretty unanimous.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page in that regard.
But that being said, it's not to crap on P4, and I have this discussion with some of my friends all the time. The console wars, which I hate in general, right? But when you have the little debate about Xbox better than PS4, but all these features, honestly, it really depends on where your friends are. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
depends on where your friends are and how much time y'all got.
And I've always felt like each one has their games because that's what
we did.
I got PlayStation because I want to play God of War. I want to play some of those exclusive. I got a Switch because there's games on the Switch I want to play. Doesn't mean either one is better than the other. It just means that I want to play. But I feel like Xbox has more community. There's a lot more community going on, and it's easier to interact with your friends on Xbox.
I definitely agree with that sentiment. I feel like, and I've said this before to people, is like the audiences for the Xbox community and the PlayStation community, they have like different values.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation 4 fans, like they're so happy about all the exclusives that PlayStation is giving them because those exclusives cater to exactly what they want, which are single player experiences. Spider-Man, God of War, The Last of Us, Uncharted. I mean, Uncharted has multiplayer things. The previous Last of Us has multiplayer things, but those are single player experiences first and foremost. Like they tell you engage in
tailored
stories.
For that.
Yeah, and
all JRPGs.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
And those are single player experiences, right? Like you don't need a big multiplayer community or infrastructure when all you're focusing on are single player games, when that's your bag. When you're sitting down in front of your TV and you're isolating, I don't want to say isolating yourself, but essentially you're isolating yourself and just doing a thing on your own for several hours. Whereas on Xbox, they have Halo and Gears, which do have, involving single player campaigns, but their multiplayer communities are the draw.
Yeah.
You know,
Some people don't even touch the single player for a while.
right?
They'll
Yeah,
just immediately hop on and just jump right into multiplayer.
like the infrastructure for online on Xbox is far and away better to me in terms of being able to see what my friends are doing at a glance, being able to hit them up with messages, being able to form parties and stuff. All that stuff is like second nature on the Xbox. Partly maybe because I'm more familiar with it, but anytime I've been on my PlayStation 4 and one, because like in the past, Jeff and I have tried to link up on PS4, it seems so much more cumbersome. Like that stuff isn't, at the forefront.
I agree. And it's like you got to think about it. As soon as I get ready to hop on the Xbox, if I have time to play something, my first question is I'm popping in the chat saying, "What's everybody playing?"
Right? Yeah. Like who's on?
What are we playing? For me to help me decide on which game I want to play.
Yeah.
When I hop on a PlayStation, I know I'm hopping on there to play some Spider-Man. I'm hopping on to play God of War. There's no question on what I'm playing, and I felt like that's like my first indication that Xbox is more, like I said, community oriented.
Right. So if you want to play with your friends, I assume most people are looking for Xbox titles and that Xbox community. If you love video games and you like to play high quality things on your own, you're probably gonna stick more with the PS4. But also, I love the Xbox controller, so like I know that that's literally just a preference thing. Like I've used the PS4 controller to play games, and I won't remember that the controller did this, that, and the third. But for the most part, if I had the choice, I'd use the Xbox controller for everything. I'd use it on my PC. I love the Switch Pro controller because it's essentially just an Xbox controller.
True.
The way the PlayStation 4 controller feels in my hands is just foreign to me. So that's another reason why I could never really use that as just my single console. And
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people know I was mainly on the P4 for a long time, for years actually.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, man. I recently picked up the Xbox in I would say 2017.
Yeah, I remember. It was kind of when we first started doing like the streaming stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly my point. I went to that for Mixer initially, right? It was for Mixer. The integrated, like now, granted, streaming is always funky because of life and technology, right? But the fact that I can stream through Mixer straight from my Xbox, which is its own capture card, is great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Now, P4 can do that with Twitch, right?
I mean, Xbox can do that with Twitch as well.
I was just about to say that.
The thing is, that used to be integrated the same way as PS4, but then once they bought Beam and then turned it into Mixer, they kind of moved that into the forefront and kind of pushed Twitch to the side. You can still do it, but they don't really highlight it as much.
Right. They don't promote that.
The fact is, you can do it, right? And you have the options there. That's another reason why I would choose this console over the P4, just for the options. Just for the options.
I think PlayStation actually has YouTube.
Mixer app?
No, they don't have Mixer.
Oh,
they definitely
they
have
have
Mixer.
YouTube.
But yeah,
streaming.
they have Twitch and YouTube. They might have like Ustream or something as well, but I'm not sure.
I don't know about that.
But I know for a fact they have YouTube because I've used that in the past.
Okay.
And Xbox doesn't.
So, yeah.
But yeah, the only reason I wouldn't pick the Switch as my single console is because Nintendo, they've let me down in the past in terms of third-party support. They're getting a lot of it nowadays, and even so, when they get those third-party games, a lot of times they're watered down because Nintendo's focus isn't on being par for par with the rest of the industry. They just do their own thing, which is great. I love them for it, but that's why they kind of fill the role as a secondary console. Like if you can only get one of the big boys like Xbox or PS4, and you can then get a second console, you're not going to get another of the big boys because they have a lot of the same games. You're going to get a Switch because you get different experiences.
That's true.
Honestly, you guys have heard me say this before. I don't feel like you can call yourself a well-rounded competitive gamer if the Switch is your main console.
I can see that.
I get that.
The only reason why I say well-rounded is because I know there are serious competitive gamers on Smash, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the only thing you're competitive on, that's not well-rounded.
Right, you're just a Smash competitor.
You're just a Smash competitor.
You're not necessarily
So,
like a
if
gamer,
you're,
as you would
yeah,
in that vein.
yeah,
So thank you, Snicks, for those two
yeah,
questions. And, thank
that's
you for
awesome.
the feedback, man. Definitely keep on watching and keep on sending in those questions. Tell your
Yep,
friends,
yep.
tell your family, your auntie, your uncle, your
Mm-hmm.
coworker.
And also,
Yep.
if you got more questions as well, Snakes, keep them coming. Like,
Keep them
we read
coming,
everything that comes to the email. So definitely keep sending them. So that's gonna do it for the mailbag. We're gonna now move into our not trivia but game this week. I know people really like that, and I know we haven't been doing them
Oof.
lately. They're time consuming to put together, but this one I think should be a lot of fun.
I have a bad record with trivia, and I'm
Well,
probably gonna
the thing is,
join
this
Club
isn't
Suck
this isn't
again.
trivia. This is a game called, I'm tentatively calling High Low.
Ooh.
So I'm going to give you a video game franchise, not like an
Okay.
actual game, not like an individual game, but the game's franchise as a whole, right?
Okay.
You're gonna need to tell me which game that I'll say. Let me start that over. You're gonna have to tell me if the next game I give you grossed more copies sold or less copies sold than the previous one.
Oh,
Okay.
For example,
Okay.
like this is just an example. I'm not going to give you any numbers. Let's say Pokemon is the first game. Then I ask you what sold more or less. Mario. You would have to guess. So you both are going to give me an answer, and we're just going to keep tallying right and wrong answers until we get to the end. There are 9 questions, well, 9 games in total. Whoever comes out on top at the end of that will win this particular game. All right.
good.
All right.
There you go.
All right. So the first game
Good luck,
is
Jeff.
Good luck.
the first game is the Halo franchise,
Okay.
right? So now, has the Donkey Kong franchise sold more copies or less copies than Halo? What do you think?
So the whole franchise. So this
The entire
includes
franchise, from
all
the
their
beginning
games.
of its inception to whatever is the most recent.
The answer feels obvious.
I think I'll go with Donkey Kong.
So Jeff, you're gonna say Donkey Kong has sold more copies than Halo.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say Halo. That's the obvious answer for me. But
So you're gonna
yeah,
say the
let's say
opposite.
Halo. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Me
anti.
knowing KC, loving
Yeah.
Halo, I feel like it wouldn't be the obvious answer. Wouldn't be Halo.
Oh, so you just trying to game the system?
Like little reverse psychology. That's how I'm feeling too. Yo, if you didn't choose Donkey Kong, I definitely would have chose it. But I want to separate these points. Here
Interesting theory, Jeff. I like where your head is at, but Blue is actually right.
Oh God.
The old switcheroony.
Wait, I'm sorry. Blue, you said that Donkey Kong sold more or less?
So less.
He said it sold less.
I
right?
said it's so less. Yeah.
Right, so you're correct. Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Halo's at 70 million copies sold. Donkey Kong is at 58 million.
So I
That's actually a lot closer than I expected.
No problem.
Right.
Okay.
So now, Donkey Kong is at 58 million. You have the actual number in your head now.
Okay.
Right? The next franchise is the Smash Brothers franchise.
Oh.
Has Smash Brothers sold more or less than Donkey Kong?
58 million.
Mm.
Does either of us have to go first, or we just?
Whoever can go first.
I'm gonna say. Gosh. I'm gonna say more.
You're gonna say Smash has sold more
Yeah.
than Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Smash is more.
Okay. What about you, Jeff? Where'd your head at? He's in deep thought right now.
I'm gonna stick with Donkey Kong. Selling more.
So you think Donkey Kong sold more than Smash Bros?
Yes.
All right. So Jeff gets a point on the board. Smash Bros is at 54 million.
Oh, it's close.
So it's close.
Okay. That's
Very
crazy.
close. All right. So now we're on Smash Bros. Smash Bros is at 54 million.
Mm-hmm.
The next series is Just Dance. One of Blue's favorite game series.
Yeah, he does.
So do you think the Just Dance series has sold more or less than 54 million by Smash Bros?
I'm gonna say Just Dance sold more.
Jeffrey's gonna say more. Okay.
In Smash Bros. Yeah, because the thing is, I know a lot of people who aren't gamers that have Just Dance. That's my thing.
Okay.
A lot of people. Like, some people are like, yeah, I play video games. Oh, what do you play? Just Dance. I'm like, okay. Technically, you're right. I'm also gonna say Just Dance.
Just Dance. All right, you both get a point this round.
Let's go.
So you were
Oof,
correct.
I almost went
Just
the other way.
Dance is at 70 million over Smash Bros. 54.
Yeah.
So that's
Goodness
significant.
gracious.
That's
Yes.
the audience. Yep.
Okay, so Just Dance, 70 million.
It came with a lot of
Has-
buttons too.
Tomb Raider sold more or less than the Just Dance series. Remember, the entire series.
I'm gonna say Tomb Raider sold less.
Blue saying less for Tomb Raider.
I'm gonna say Tomb Raider sold more, just because how many games came out, and even the new iterations of them, they're included, right?
Yeah,
Like,
every
right.
single game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with Tomb Raider.
Jeff gets the point. Tomb Raider is at 74 million versus Just
Bro.
Dance is 70.
Okay.
So, Tomb Raider 74 million. Has it sold? Well, let me rephrase that. So we're at Tomb Raider at 74 million.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo, the entire franchise, has it sold more or less than the Tomb Raider series?
I'm gonna say less.
I'm gonna say more.
Jeff is saying less. Blue is saying more. Blue is correct. So you guys are tied right now
That-
at 3-3 apiece. Gran
that series
Turismo
is
sold
ancient.
80 million.
Yeah.
Over
That
Tomb Raider
series, if that
74.
series wasn't so old, I definitely would have sided with Jeff. That series.
I want to say that they came out around the same time. Like, wasn't that PS1? Both Tomb Raider and Gran Turismo?
Yeah, but there's more racing fans than. Unfortunately, there's more racing fans than female adventure protagonist fans.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. I mean, the numbers essentially prove it.
Yeah.
So, Gran Turismo sitting at 80 million. What has sold more? The Tom Clancy franchise, or has it sold less?
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go
Gran
with
Turismo's
Tom.
at 80 million.
I'm going with Tom Clancy.
So you're saying Tom Clancy sold more or less?
Because we're talking about Splinter Cell, we're talking about the
Yeah, it's
Division.
everything that
Yeah.
has Tom Clancy on it.
I'm saying Tom Clancy sold more.
So both you guys are saying more?
Yeah.
Yep. You're both right.
Okay.
So
Oof.
4 points apiece. Tom Clancy's everything with the Tom Clancy title on it in total has sold 82 million copies.
Oh, we
That's
were
still
very
kinda
close.
Yeah, real
Yeah.
close.
I thought it was gonna blow him out like 100 million. Okay.
Because you think about all these different franchises versus one, just Gran Turismo.
Right, yeah. But that just tells you like how popular Gran Turismo is.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
geez. So Tom Clancy's franchise, 82 million. Has the Star Wars franchise sold more or less?
It's not fair.
More.
Bro.
That's definitely more.
That's
Games,
not-
right?
Yeah, games,
Oh, I
not
think about
not
games.
movies and blah blah blah, just games.
I think less.
You think less? Jeff?
Yeah.
I'll be the other side of the coin. I'll go with more.
More. Okay. Remember, it's the entire list of everything that's
Yeah,
Star
but I
Wars.
didn't think they sold that well.
They did.
I know it's a long. I think Casey's trying to tell me that I'm wrong.
No. I just want you guys to solidify
Know
your
the
answers.
gravity
You're
of
gonna
what
stick
we
with what you
said.
got, right? So
Yeah.
Blue's actually right.
Oh!
I figured
Press
that.
the force, baby.
So Star Wars is at 81 million for all the games over the life of its franchise.
Oh my
Tom Clancy's
gosh.
at 82. So very, very close, but they just
Yeah.
edged them out. So Star Wars, 81 million copies. This is our last question, and Blue currently has the lead. So Jeff can either tie or he'll lose. If we do have a tie, I think I can probably scrounge up one more question. But last one. Pro Evolution Soccer. PES is the Konami soccer franchise, not
Yeah.
FIFA. PES, Pro Evolution Soccer. Has it sold more or less than the Star Wars franchise?
That thing's
More.
famous internationally.
I'm gonna go with more.
Heavy.
So Jeff's going more.
You know what? I'm gonna secure the bag and say more as well.
That's kind of cheating, but not really. I mean, because he did earn all the other points. So either way, Blue would have won, but Jeff is right. They're both right.
I'm right too.
Pro Evolution Soccer is at 100 million versus Star Wars 81 million.
Hey,
Star Wars sucks, bro.
that's why it's sold more
So
than your franchise.
Blue
What's your
wins the
favorite
game
franchise?
with 6 points to Jeff's 5. It was actually really close. I hope you guys enjoyed that game.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was actually a lot easier
many-
to put together than some of the other ones, so we'll probably see this come back.
How
in the
many
near
copies
future.
has DC games sold? Like 12?
Why are you taking it personal, son? Star Wars games haven't been that great. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
they go up and down.
81 copies, 81 million copies. Agreed.
Exactly. Yeah.
The quality varies, but yeah, Star Wars is
the
popular
Arkham
enough.
series. Just think
What
about
about
it. Don't forget that's DC.
Yeah. Okay.
DC. I wonder if DC counts as a franchise though. Like I don't know,
It doesn't. It would just
like as a
be-
video game franchise. I'd have
It'd
to
have
check.
to say Batman.
or Warner Brothers, I guess.
Not say Batman
I'd
franchise.
have to search through Wikipedia to see how they even phrase it if it's on there. But that's gonna do it for the podcast. That's gonna
finally
be
won a
episode.
Mm.
Yeah, you did.
Finally.
Congrats.
I'm happy for you. I threw it for
Hope
you.
you enjoyed
I
the
wanted you
Suck
to win.
Club.
I knew Star
Welcome to
Wars
Club
sucked
Suck.
for video games, so I was just like, let me just be the other side. I needed you
Jeff.
to win. I wanted you to feel good about yourself.
Man, you took that L fair.
All right. So that's gonna do it for episode 19. I want to thank Superman Jeff 12 as well as Blue Bones. Where can people find you, Jeff, if they want
You
to
can
find you on the internet?
Superman Jeff Plays on Facebook, and you also find me on Mixer at Superman Jeff 12. So definitely check us out there. Also, remember to hit the subscribe button as well as those notifications and that like button. You leave comments, and like Snick 360 did today, send in some questions. We'll answer them.
Please do.
We actually love hearing from you guys, and that lets us know we're doing something right. So definitely go ahead and do that.
Blue, where can people find you?
It's your boy Blue Bones, BLUB0NES. You can see me on Mixer at mixer.com/BlueBonesXB as an Xbox. Hit me up on Facebook. Play with Blue Bones. Once again, BLUB0NES. Yeah, man, we appreciate y'all coming through. Once again, Snicks, good looking out. We love the feedback. And I'm excited for our streams over the next couple weeks because we got some good games that we just picked up. We got a lot of a very active community. I was actually talking to Fat Stacks. He's with Certified Gaming just yesterday on his Code Vein stream, and he was telling everybody, he's like, "Yo, you guys got to tune in for Sundays for the Super Smash Sundays. It's always fun. They got some great matches coming up. So just keep that love coming, and we appreciate y'all."
Right. I on that note, I actually just met someone in person who was like, "Oh, I love your Super Smash Bros. Streams. I just can't ever participate because I'm at work or blah blah blah." So let us know that you guys are watching, or when your times are open, because we may try and open up maybe an additional day of Smash streams.
Yeah,
like maybe get some different people in there. So that's a possibility as well. Definitely hit us with some feedback so we know kind of where to put stuff. But you can find me on pretty much all social media at Sigma Gears 9. You can find me on Facebook at Sigma and Sun, and definitely check for my reviews on the Escapist YouTube channel. I am part of the team that does the 3-minute reviews there, so pretty much a third of everything you see in that section is from me. That's pretty much going to do it. Once again, I want to thank Superman Jeff as well as Blue Bones for hosting this with me, and I definitely want to thank everyone who's been listening and watching. We feel the support. We appreciate it. We definitely want to continue doing this and growing and getting bigger and better. So definitely hit those subscribe buttons. Share this with your friends. And stay live. Peace.
Yeah, keep living.
Niggas really tripping. Why the fuck they always got that hate? Concentrate on a nigga while I'm out here trying to get him and forget it. Shaking my head, these niggas that don't speak. Trying to get bread, y'all niggas in deep sleep. At least I'm woke, nigga, I'm a beast, at least I know. Whoa. Try to get rid of me, but I am the epitome of acidity. I can spat it in every city.